All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. We're going to dive into our major markets, what we've got going on for today, and taking a look at some slowing downward momentum, which we talked about yesterday in the live trade room, as also in the DMC. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're new to the channel, make sure you do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Don't always do these things live, but certainly we are live today. So if you want to ask a question, please type it in the chat box over on YouTube, and we will get the questions as we can answered for you. So let's go ahead and start right in. Going to be fairly short today, about 10 minutes or so worth of time, but want to at least get you a shot in the arm to kick off your day. So starting first with the S&P. We can see that the S&P sitting here, we talked yesterday about a potential breakout above 4411, and it was the same in the NASDAQ, a breakout above 14,000, because we felt like that was really the key area to pay attention to. Now, the downside was that we didn't get basing before the level to give us a good quality entry. Remember, we need quality basing before a level for a breakout. But when I move to the 4-hour chart, what we can see is we have now put in a slightly higher high, right? As we got above this high, we've now put in that slightly higher high. So anytime you put in a higher high, it's something that we need to pay specific attention to. I don't know that I would consider this a higher swing low or not. It doesn't seem to be quite enough of one, but certainly this is a slightly higher high. So by doing that and by putting in that slightly higher high, slightly higher low, we've now said, hey, you know what? It's okay to look for longs. And we can look for longs on quality pullbacks to areas of demand. So where are those areas of demand? Well, as I look at what we currently have right now, we've rallied up nicely since the London market open. And I always take a look at the London market open. The London open gives me a pretty good picture of oftentimes what's happening to set up the day. So looking at that, I'm going to wrap my lines around this area right here, 44.45 by 44.38. Certainly because it's on a 15-minute chart. I'm going to wrap it in purple. And then I am also going to look at this little level right here, which was just created, right? A very recently created level. Now, that very recently created level is a prior area of resistance. So that could be a pretty good breakout, a pretty good reversal opportunity if price comes back in. Jason Ma says NQM breakout or short. So good question. So I was actually just about to get to the NQ. And the NQ, we have not yet put in a higher swing high. But this is the level that we spoke about yesterday, above 14,000, to show me that there could be some bullish price action. So what am I looking at right now? Well, we are sitting at 1, 2, 3 touches, right? This would be our third touch for a potential next breakout on the 4-hour chart. I think that we've not got quality basing, though, and so that quality basing, when it doesn't exist, I need to, rather than take the breakout, I need to play for the reversal trade. And that reversal trade is right there at 14,205 by 14,180. I think is a good place to look for a potential reversal trade, price coming back into this particular region. Now, I will say that my favorite level is this one down here, which is this wick over wick above a pivot low. That's just so dang far away. I don't know when we're going to get back into that level. It may not happen today, but that certainly is still going to be a level that I'm going to pay attention to as I look forward for tradable levels and tradable opportunities. So there's our S&P as well as our NASDAQ. Looking up at the Russell 2000, also giving us that breakout level that we talked about yesterday. Hit where the next price target would have been, rallied right through that. We are coming into the next area of supply. Now, the Russell, unlike the S&P and the NASDAQ, the Russell has officially put in a 4-hour higher swing low and a 4-hour higher swing high. So I have 2 consecutive higher swing lows, 2 consecutive higher swing highs. And whenever I get 2 consecutive higher swing lows and 2 consecutive higher swing highs, that tells me that I've got a better chance at being a buyer. And so this confirmation, this supply area up above me now has to be a confirmation entry. I will say that I don't really love this supply area for a short because of the proximity of the opposing area of demand down below right through here. So all of my equity markets this morning looking mildly bullish. a little bit more to the bullish side than we are to the bearish side on that smaller time frame. Now, once again, looking at this on more of a daily chart, a bigger picture time period, we've still not put in a higher swing high on the daily chart. So, one of the things that I want to look at when I see these is I always want to take a look at volume and see what's volume telling me. Well, we did have an increase of volume yesterday on a move up. And so an increase of volume on a move up tells me that there's a good chance that we get some continuation. Combine that with the fact that the Russell over the last couple of weeks has been the leader, and that actually is pretty strong for that. So, Jason Law says, Netflix earnings was bad. Surprised the NQM came back up like that. Should I be surprised? No, I shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, Netflix definitely took it on the chin. No doubt about that. Netflix looks like we're opening up this morning about $100 lower. Now, by the way, does this Netflix earnings surprise anybody? I hope the answer is no. We were looking at this weeks ago because what's our big picture trend in Netflix? The big picture trend is down. And so this earnings, did I expect it to drop $100 on the earnings? No. But I definitely did expect the markets, the Netflix to fall. And hopefully some of you, I know we talked about a put ratio back spread on that. Some of you may have gotten involved in that move. So anyway, all right, moving over to the energies and metals, taking a look at our bonds, our crude oil and our gold markets. So crude oil yesterday, we did come up, put actually a head and shoulders pattern in place. That head and shoulders pattern that we put in place, price dropped down to our confirmation long, cut right through it, telling me that there's some weakness down here. Actually setting up really well for the next leg down below 102. And I think that's really the better play today would be to look for the next leg down. I don't love price rallying too much higher. And if we do rally higher, these wicks right here are pointing to higher supply. So if we do rally up throughout the day today, then this 106, I think, is a pretty good area of supply and a place to pay attention going forward. I think that your better probabilities for today in in crude oil are going to be to wait for a breakdown below this 102 kind of area. Could you theoretically take a long on a pullback into here if you want a real short-term day trade? Yeah, I guess that is a possibility as well. If you want a very small time frame day trade, that does make itself known right down in this region. Gold, man, we talked yesterday about gold's breakdown. We did get the big old breakdown in gold yesterday. Unfortunately, we did not get the basing necessary to make a good solid trade. We came into the opposing area of demand. Now, that opposing area of demand happened to be in the context of a lower swing high and a lower swing low. So you want to switch that to a confirmation entry. It did give you a quick entry and then a quick stop out. And that tells us, I think if you are looking for a candle-to-candle short opportunity, I actually think that right now you've got a really nice candle-to-candle short opportunity in gold. And what is a candle-to-candle trade? It means that we got lower than this reversal candle's low. Your stop goes above that candle's high, and your target is going to be the next area of demand below where we are. So my next area of demand wouldn't actually be until somewhere down in here. Now, if you just take a 2-to-1 reward to risk as your initial entry based on where we are right now, because you're actually sitting at a quality entry at this exact moment, a 2-to-1 reward to risk would put you right there at 1943. I think that's a very realistic setup, and it's setting itself up for a trade at this exact moment on a candle-to-candle short opportunity. Remember, this is a candle-to-candle style because we're not in a super great supply, although it did come into a pretty decent area of supply right through here, which we're reversing off of. So I think there's still some room to make money on that trade if you decide you want to jump in onto that. Now, if you get in a little bit later, it may not still present itself quite as well. The level that we've been talking about recently, and I want to just kind of pull this up. Japanese yen yesterday, we talked about another opportunity for potential breakdown. We did get a nice breakdown, good little run away. It has rallied back up, ever since yesterday's breakdowns. Hopefully you're able to make a little cheddar on that breakdown. The reversal that it's coming up to is one that I think is worth paying attention to. So right up in here, we are approaching a decent reversal in the Japanese yen for those of you that trade the Japanese yen. And then taking a very quick look at our crypto markets, micro Bitcoin, micro Ether. Our micro Ether, we are actually coming up into a supply area right now. The downside of this supply is that my opposing demand is about a 1-to-1 reward to risk away. And so it's not a great setup. However, on a 4-hour chart, this is putting in a little bit of a reversal pattern. So look for, if we do get some basing right down in here, maybe we get a little pullback into here for price to then move a bit higher. Bitcoin also putting in a similar picture. We got a nice move off this supply area. We've come back to it a second time. We're now sitting in this supply area, but once again, very similar picture in that we've got opposing demand very close. And so I think you're probably better off looking for a breakout above this area. So, all right. That's all I have for today. If anybody has any questions, certainly feel free to shoot us an email. Let me know whatever it is I can do to help. I wanted to just do a very quick market setup and orientation for today. If you guys have any questions, shoot me an email, support@tradersarmy.com. I appreciate you guys joining me today live on YouTube. Want to do this a little bit more frequently, so maybe I will do that. Peace out, everybody. Talk to you soon.